It can be really challenging and really difficult to figure out how much we are supposed to give to God. What's the answer? How much are we supposed to give to God? Well, it all depends on what our standard of giving is, or who our standard of giving is. You see, if our standard of giving is ourselves, or maybe a fellow Christian or somebody else and how much they give, then our standard of giving is always going to be relatively really low. But as Christians, our standard of giving is not ourselves and not each other. Rather, our standard of giving is God's giving. Think about what God has given you for just a moment. First of all, God gave His Son, His one and only beloved Son. And then His Son gave us His life on that cross. And then through that, we have been given this gift called grace. Not to mention all the material blessings that God has given us as well. Things like our homes and our cars and our food and all this other stuff that we have been so richly blessed with. You see, once our standard of giving is changed to be what God has given us, once that is established as our standard of giving, then our mindset, our perspective can change regarding giving. But that still begs the question, how much am I supposed to give financially? How much money am I supposed to give to God? What's the magic formula? What's the simple equation that I can plug my numbers into and figure out how much I'm supposed to give to God? If you are looking for that magic formula or that nice equation, you're wasting your time. The New Testament doesn't have any nice, simple magic formula or an equation that you can plug in and get out how much you're supposed to give to God. Think about maybe why there isn't a magic formula for a moment. Why is there not a nice, simple equation to plug our numbers into? Because then we are setting a limit to how much we can give to God. And once that limit is reached, then we're good and we don't have to give anything else to God. But again, if our standard of giving is what God has given us through His Son and through His Son's life and given us grace, there is no limit to how much we should give God, whether it's our time or our money or anything for that matter. If you are wanting a place in the New Testament that shows how much we are to give, and there are many places, but look at Acts chapter 4. I love this. Acts chapter 4 shows us that the early Christians, you know what they realized? They realized that their possessions were not their own. And in doing so, they shared their possessions with other people. You see, once we realize our standard of giving is what God has given us, and once we establish that the possessions we have are not ours, but rather what God has given us, once we realize those two things, then our hearts are changed. And our giving can come from our heart, where we are thankful for what God has given us. And out of gratitude, we give in abundance to God and His mission. So I challenge you today, give from your heart. Give out of gratitude. Give from a place of thankfulness for what God has given you.